Hello, Steve Holmes at Charm Sciences. This video will review the procedures of how to clean the Charm Easy Reader and the Easy M Reader.
The different tools you will need to clean the Easy Reader are some new pointed white cotton swabs, two different types of wipes, wipe number 1, which is a soap wipe, and then wipe number 2, which is an alcohol wipe, a pair of tweezers, an X-Acto knife or a sharp tool to remove an adhesive label, the 2 Allen wrenches that came with the Easy or Easy M readers, which is a 1/16 Allen wrench, and the other is a 9/64 Allen wrench. Also shown here are 2 replacement Easy lenses, and then 2 horseshoe-shaped door spacers.
To clean the Easy Reader, the first thing you will do is use the larger 9/64 Allen key, and you will use the smaller 1/16 Allen key to remove the slide mechanism. To remove the slide mechanism from the Easy Reader, use the small 1/16 Allen key, and the small set screw here you will unscrew to remove the slide from the reader. Unscrew the screw. It does not have to be removed completely. Remove the screw partially halfway from the bottom slide device, and that will allow the whole slide to be taken off of the reader. To clean the optical area of the Easy Reader, what we will do is first start with the wipe labeled number 1, which is our soap wipe. Tear the packet open and remove the wipe, and then what we can do is use this soap towelette to gently clean the optical area in the Easy Reader. You can use your finger and apply a little pressure just to clean inside and try to remove any dust or debris or any type of dried milk or material that's in this area. Next, what we can do is use the wipe labeled number 2, which is an alcohol based wipe, and also wipe that same area using the alcohol to help remove any contamination that's present. So once you've cleaned that area completely, you want to use a lint-free wipe to dry that residue off. So you can use something like a Kim wipe or other type of cloth that is lint-free. So take the Kim wipe and gently dry the area to remove any residue so that we're not leaving any sort of film in that same area. Once dried, that cleaning is complete. Next, what we will show you is how to remove and clean the top slide assembly of the Easy Reader. What we will do is take the larger 9/64 inch Allen key and remove the top 2 screws from the lid of the slide assembly. And this will allow you to open up and remove the lid, and when you do so, inside you will see a white little spacer. So remove that, and we'll need that to reassemble the unit later. At this point, what we want to do is, if we look at the top lid that we just removed, we want to make sure there's no dirt or debris or dried milk on this cover. You will also see here there's this black rubber horseshoe shaped spacer. If that's damaged or looks like it's been deteriorated based upon with contact of milk or different types of extraction buffers that we use, with the kit we supplied you with a replacement lens that has a peelable backing, and you can just replace that if needed. Okay, so to clean this, all what we do is recommend is to take the first towelette, which is the soap again, and use this to clean the area around the lid itself, and you can use this to clean in between and around the spacer to make sure there's no milk or debris present. What you can do is then also use the alcohol wipe as a secondary tool to help clean and remove any of that same residue. So a combination of the alcohol and the soap will help remove any type of milk proteins or anything that is caked on or contaminating the top lid. At this point, you can also use one of the supplied swabs. You'll see one end is rounded where the other end has a nice pointed tip that will allow you to try to get into the different crevices and use this to clean a little bit better. If you also have the same lint-free Kim wipes or some other type of lint-free cloth, you can use that to clean and dry off any residue from the lid itself. Okay? Next, we will do the same thing with the base of the slide assembly. This base is actually a little more critical because you actually have a plastic lens that helps protect the optical mechanism in the Easy Reader. So again, what you want to use is use that first soap towelette we provide and clean this as best you can. And if needed, while you clean this, you can also take one of the supplied swabs and use the swab itself as a means to get in and try to clean the lens into different corners and crevices as best as possible. Okay? So once the swab is wet, you can also use this to try to clean the different areas, making sure you pay attention to the very top and the very bottom areas of the lens. What's also important is make sure that you turn the lens over and clean the back part of this lens. So this will be a little bit trickier, so you can use the wipe as a way to also clean this area extremely well, using the pointed tip to clean that lens area as best you can. Once you're done with the soap towelette, the number 1 towelette, you can use the second alcohol wipe, follow that up and clean any soap residue that was left. And again, do your best to try to remove any residue or any contamination that's present, and again, use the provided swab to help get into the different areas of the lens. Once done, you can use a new dry swab and dry off the lens area to remove any of the dried residue or wet residue. We want to make sure this is dry and there's no dried residue left on the lens. And if needed, you can use that same Kim wipe or lint-free towelette to clean. What you want to do is inspect the lens once you're done to make sure it looks clean and that there's no scratches or any other damages to the plastic lens itself. If you do see any scratches or damages that you cannot remove with the different cleaning towelettes, the next part of this video will show you how to remove the lens and replace that with the 2 lenses that are supplied with the Easy Cleaning Kit. The other part of the Easy Reader Cleaning Kit is what we call a removable or replaceable optical window or lens. That's this plastic piece here that's shown that has the brown label that we're going to peel off and the blue protective coating that will also be peeled off when it's replaced on the Easy Reader slide. This next part of the video will show you on the bottom half of the Easy slide assembly is if this optical plastic lens or window is scratched or damaged in way, we will show you how to replace this. To replace this optical window, turn the slide over to expose the bottom, and using a cotton swab, using the rough end of the swab, gently push against the plastic in this small top window and also push in this bottom window. And what will happen is you will remove the plastic lens. it will sometimes break, and then what you can do is you can use an X-Acto knife or a small sharp tool to remove the remaining plastic that's left in the slide assembly. So what we want to do is remove any remaining pieces of this slide before we replace it with the new one. So once all the last remaining pieces of the slide have been removed, what we want to do is, again, take an alcohol wipe and clean this internal area where the new window will be replaced. So take another alcohol wipe and again, clean this interior area as best you can. The alcohol will help remove any of the adhesive left over from the old window. And again, remove any traces of liquid. You can use the swab now and dry this, or what you can do is use one of the Kim wipes to remove any of the liquid that's remaining from the alcohol. Here there's a small piece of alcohol wipe left, so we will remove that. And again, dry this interior area where the new lens will be added. This next section will explain how to now replace the lens that we just removed. So one of the replacement lenses that came with the cleaning kit has on one side some adhesive, and then the other side a blue covering. What we need to do is remove some of this adhesive in order to allow it to stick to the slide assembly. So what you can do is, using a pair of tweezers, hold the slide assembly in the middle, and using an X-Acto knife or another type of sharp object, carefully remove some of the plastic or the adhesive covering from the back piece. And there'll be a tiny piece at the end here, so you want to remove that. And if you touch this, it's okay. We're gonna show you how to clean it at the end. But by holding it in the middle, it gives you more leverage to help remove these other pieces of adhesive. So once the top and the bottom pieces of the adhesive have been removed, what we want to do is then carefully and these might be a little tricky. Is holding the lens by its side, go ahead and remove this last piece in the middle. And if you have to, you can use the tweezers, or you can carefully use your hand to remove that piece. So what we want to do is look to see that there's a large window of the lens and then a smaller window with a piece of adhesive in the middle. So holding the lens with the blue side facing up, you want to put the small end where the window is small into the top of the assembly, and then press down and push the lens into place. What you can do is use the supplied swabs using the pointed end and apply some pressure at the very top, the middle, and the bottom of the slide to allow that adhesive to stick. And then very carefully, what we want to do is use that X-Acto knife or sharp tool to carefully remove or lift up from one end of the slide that blue protective cover. You can use a pair of tweezers once you have that lifted up, and then you can use the tweezers to remove the blue adhesive. So the last thing that we want to do is make sure that this whole lens is clean. So using the same supplied towelettes that came with the kit, we want to start by using again the soap towelette. Again, make sure everything's clean, you know, from the lens, whether you're using your fingers or you got some contamination on them by accident. So again, use the soap towelette. You can use the same sponge, or sorry, the same swab, and clean that internal lens area, making sure that it's clean. Remember to clean the top and the bottom very well. And you can use the swab to remove any contamination that you see there. And you can do the same thing with the alcohol wipe or the number 2 wipe as your final step. And once you're done, again, you can use your swab. Use this to apply some pressure to clean and clean the top and the bottom areas of that lens, making sure you clean both the top and the bottom window areas. Once done, take another swab that's dry and clean off any residue that was on the lens. What you should be able to do is when you're done, you should be able to hold the lens up to a light and look at it and make sure it's clean and there's no specks or dirt or contamination or any fingerprints. Once it's clean, then we can put the whole assembly back together. So to reassemble the Easy Slide, what we will do is take the top half or the hinged portion of the slide assembly, take the white horseshoe, place that into the opening, and the easiest thing to do is place the bottom slide upside down on top of the top hinged piece. Flip this over, and then you can take the 2 screws that we removed and screw those back into place. Do not tighten them completely. So what we want to do is make sure that when we operate the hinge, so if we open and close the hinge, it's a nice smooth operation and it's not misaligned anyway. Once you have it aligned properly, tighten these top 2 screws. Take the Easy Reader, slide the whole lens assembly into the reader, push it back as far as it will go, and using that smaller 1/16 inch Allen wrench, screw back or screw down that set screw. Screw it down slightly below the face of the plastic and make sure that the slide is firmly and securely in place. That concludes the instructions of how to clean and replace the optical lens or window in the Charm Easy Reader.